So your render's over. You've got a sequence of EXRs. How do we make these into a movie? So to do this, we're going to use Nuke because it's going to recognize the ACES color that's in all these files. So I've started up Nuke X. You'll notice Nuke comes in half a dozen different flavors. We're going to use just the basic parts of it. So really, I think any of those versions of Nuke will work. Nuke X is kind of Nuke Extra. It's got a few extra things in it that we're not going to use. So this is Nuke when it starts up. This is the node area that we're going to use. So what I usually do is this. I can see my files here. So I'm just going to drag one into it. And with this selected, I can hit 1, and this will show it in the viewer here. Whoa. And it opens up a viewer, and it shows it in there, which is cool. I'm going to double-click this to see the attributes. So it works a little bit like Maya in that way. Each node has its own attributes. And because right now this is just a single frame, and I want to get the whole sequence. But since I brought this in, I can do this, and it'll go right to the folder, and it shows me the whole sequence there. I've got sequences turned on. It can show me everything individually, but it's way easier like this to say grab all 120. This is also very helpful in case you're missing a frame, like you're missing 87. It'll show here that you're missing some, but I'm not. I got 1 to 120. With nothing selected here, so I've kind of selected off, I'm going to hit S, and this is the settings for this composition that I'm working on. And in these settings, I want to look at color. So there's different ways for Nuke to manage color. One way is the Nuke default, and the other way is the open color, and this is the ACES color that we're using. So things change a little bit as it does that. You can see the difference there. So this is a read node. I'm going to make a write node, or W. So W for write. Connect that. So let's give it a file name. There's my stuff. And so I'll call this Peppermill render 01. And what we're going to make is an MOV file. So we're going to get some errors. So there's a couple of things we need to set here. MOV files have any number of codecs. I'm going to show you the one that I think is best to use. It's this Apple ProRes 422. So this makes a reasonably sized file that doesn't have a lot of loss to it. So the quality is good. So let's do this. Then we need to change the gamma here, the color space. So since we're in ACES, we've got like more color spaces than you'd ever want to see, all this stuff. We're going to use this utility sRGB texture. This is the same one we used when we pulled the wood picture into Maya. And you're getting this error here. That's all right. It's going to work. So at this point, I'm going to say render 1 to 120 and just say OK. I'm not going to start it now, but that's all you need to do, and it'll start working on it and do it. That'll give you an MOV file like this. And to play it, I'm going to open it with the VLC player. And that should open it, and it'll look OK. Everything wants to update. Okay, but that's how to use Nuke to get this to make a movie. One last thing about Nuke. One thing that I end up doing a lot when doing this is I want to adjust the color a little bit. So I'm going to hit C for color, or color correct. And it puts it out here. And I'll kind of daisy chain this in between. So I can hit 1 here so I can view the color correct. You get this, let me close this. I just want to see the color correct here. You get this list of color correct options. It seems really big, but it's really the same 5 items: saturation, contrast, gamma, gain, offset. For the overall image, for the shadows, for the midtones, and the highlights. So really, most of the time you can probably get away with this. So it might be, say, you want to bring up the gain just a little bit, maybe pull the gamma down, pull saturation down a little bit. You can pull the gain up. Maybe I could warm the whole thing up just a little bit. So that's a lot. Something like that. These are just easy color corrections you might want to make. You don't have to. If you don't want to use them, or if you're not sure, it's kind of a cool thing in Nuke where I can grab this color node and hit D for disable. So I can keep hitting D to turn on and off. So I can leave it connected here, but turn it on and off. And that's it.